Every company would like to do a lot of growing. Wait till you hear about this one. I'm Fred Fishkin with another Techstination interview, and joining us from Just Vertical is co-founder and president Kevin Jakiela. Thanks for taking the time, Kevin.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us what Just Vertical is all about.
Yeah, of course. We're an indoor vertical hydroponic growing company based in Toronto, Canada. We essentially build furniture that feeds you. So indoor vertical hydroponic gardens for your home, school, bar, restaurant, and office.
All different sizes?
We have two products right now. We have the Ava, it's the larger model. It can yield about 10 pounds of food a month, and plays in about a 3.5 square foot area. And then we have the smaller unit, the Eve, which is about 1.5 square feet. It's better for condos.
Interesting story. How did this come about?
Yeah, so I met my co-founder Connor while we're doing our master's degrees at the University of Toronto. My background is in plant sciences, and I did a lot of work in the Canadian Arctic, growing food in negative 40 degrees Celsius with about 20 to 22 hours of darkness. So how to optimize different growing techniques, extending growing seasons in places where it doesn't allow you to grow food. So it kind of started with utilizing other technologies, bringing other technologies back to the lab with me in Toronto, and then leveraging our own business plan out of a capstone project with the technology and the proprietary science research that we made into a business itself.
Sounds like Elon Musk needs to talk to you about Mars.
That would be great.
So describe for us, you mentioned the two different units, what you have on the market today, how this works, what consumers should know.
Yeah, for sure. So it's fully automated from the lighting systems. There's integrated full spectrum LED lights that are dimmable. So it actually works and integrates into your kitchen and in your home very easily, especially if you're watching a movie with the family, or you're having a dinner party and there's a obstructive bright LED lights. Usually a lot of people turn those off. For us, we have the ability to tweak them. And as well as it's a fully automated watering system. So you don't have to worry about the watering side of things. It's a 2-week reservoir. What that means is it has about 12 liters in the reservoir itself, and you fill it up once every 2 weeks. Our tagline is, it's a rainy day and a sunny day every single day for the plants so they can grow optimally, especially nowadays when you hear in the news with all the forest fires going on in Western US, in Canada, in Turkey, you have floods going on in other portions of the world. Now more than ever, technology like this can really help to sustain and be utilized in homes all around the world.
So step us through how it works. People need seed pods and the nutrients, the things that they may have heard of before.
I would think about it a little bit like an espresso or Tassimo type of thing. So the unit comes fully built to your house. All you have to do is, it's a true plug and play. You set up against your wall. You fill up your reservoir with water. We have liquid nutrients that are pre-poured. There's a little volumetric flask on it. So you essentially squeeze the bottle. It goes up to 10, 15, 20 milliliters. You dump it into the reservoir. And then we have a little germination seedling kit. You plant the seeds, let it grow for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then you transplant those little pods right into the system itself, and then you let it grow. You don't touch it from there. So it's a consistent recirculating system that you only have to really touch about 10 minutes of work a week. What that means is making sure the plants, you're doing your pruning, you harvest when you want, let the rest keep growing.
And are you telling people how to harvest these different plants too? Because they don't want to necessarily take the whole thing at once.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people that do a little bit too much of a haircut to some of the plants. So we have a whole maintenance and pruning guide as well as harvesting guide as well. And that's when for us, when you trim the leaves, how to pollinate certain plants like tomatoes or peppers or strawberries, for example, when to pollinate and when to harvest and how many harvests per plant. So some plants like lettuce, for example, a lot of people like to pick the lettuce off when they want to, and that's great. But the best thing to grow lettuce is to pick it all at one head and then remove it and then replant. That's the best bang for your buck in terms of the systems. But there's other crops called cut and come again crops, or quote unquote cut and come again. What those means are they're more of the herbs. And those are the ones where it can sustain multiple harvests without compromising yield or taste of any of the crops.
Interesting. How are you different from some of the other products that are out there and some have been around, like the Aero Garden for years and years?
Yeah, for sure. So a couple ways we're different is we are industrial design furniture focused. So our goal was to make a unit, an indoor garden for that matter, that people are proud of, that don't necessarily have to take up counter space, and it looks beautiful in your home. So we can customize color, stain color in the bottom cabinets. It's actually true utility for your home. So you can stack things within the cabinets or on top of the unit itself. So it's like a bookshelf replacement essentially. As well as a lot of people don't have lamps in their condos or don't have certain lighting appropriate for that. So our lights are bright enough and dim enough that you can double that as your lighting in the room as well. So it's the look, and then of course it's the core technology. So our core technology, our patented irrigation technology, can grow food at a very quick pace. It's a mixture of hydroponics and aeroponic techniques. So it has the best of both worlds that actually can propel growth a little bit quicker than standard hydroponic growing, all with the benefits of the safety of hydroponics, with aeroponics kind of a misting shower head kind of technique. And on top of that, our technology is fully scalable. So we've actually, to have more impact into the home, into restaurants, into commercial farming, our core technology is directly scalable to any rooms. We've actually outfitted 400 square foot container farms, 10,000 square foot warehouses, 3,000 square foot greenhouses, all of the same core technology that you would find in the Ava and Eve that you'd have in your home.
Tell me about the economics involved here. People say, well, some of these home garden things are very expensive, and is it worth it? Am I not better off going down to the market?
Yeah. So in terms of the economic side of things, the payback period for one of our units, the Ava, the bigger one, is about 1.5 years. Of course, it depends on what you grow. But that being said, is we would recommend certain crops that are typically not peak season to grow. And that way you get your best bang for your buck. For example, growing strawberries in January, if you live in the northern US or in Canada for that matter, where in January, strawberries are poor quality and they're very, very expensive. So we'd recommend things that are off season there. And then you would switch the crops around. The turnaround time for these crops are quite quick. So essentially, it's two things: is growing crops that are high value crops in off-season times, traditionally in compared to outdoor agriculture. And on top of that is getting more harvest at home. So you can grow more things. So a turnaround about 2.5 turns per month, depending on what you're growing, of crops, depending on, because there's 16 plant sites per unit. So you can really grow a lot. On top of that is we really promote on the social environmental side of things. A lot of people were very cautious of going to grocery stores during COVID. So this way is a great educational tool for kids, younger kids at home, as well as acknowledging where food comes from and the environmental impacts. For example, about 85% of kale is grown in an area of Texas, and it's about 3,000 kilometers from that area of Texas to downtown Toronto. That those carbon impacts, those environmental impacts, generally speaking, is quite large. So if you can offset those, I know a lot of people now are more conscious of what they buy, where they buy from, who they buy from. I always promote buying local anyway. So we'd really cater to that aspect of things. I know I kind of went away from your question initially, but
there's a matter of taste too. If you're getting your food from the next room instead of the next country.
Exactly. And nutrient degradation occurs with increased transport time, essentially. So the longer something is on a truck, the poorer it's going to taste because the more nutrient it's bleeding out.
What can I grow? I mean, you have a variety of seed pods, but can I kind of grow my own?
Yeah, for sure. So you first off, you can grow your own. A lot of our folks say, hey, I have a green thumb. I make my own little soil plugs, peat moss plugs at home with the plants that I liked. To each their own. It's fully compatible with a lot of different plugs. Our pods are a certain size. So as long as you make your soil plug or your peat moss plug or cocoa coir plug a certain size, you can jam it right in there. That's no issue. In terms of what you can grow, we've experimented with about 80 now 80 different varieties of crops, totaling about 200 full crops. So that's including different types of rosemary, different types of basil. So over 200 different types of plants to date. Everything from your standard leafy greens and herbs that you see in the traditional sense. We've done some cool things in crossbreeding of wasabi arugula, which is very interesting. We do a lot of flowers now, edible and non-edible flowers. Cherry tomatoes, strawberries, ghost peppers have been the most popular. We've done mini pumpkins for a school around Halloween. We've done zucchinis. I've even done hops for a microbrewery as well.
So this is big enough for me to have these zucchinis growing in the family room?
Yeah. Well, we would choose dwarf varieties, baby varieties of zucchini and cucumber as they get quite big of a plant. But the fruit itself are a hand size essentially. So you can definitely do that.
And about the nutrients, tell us what you're using here. A lot of people are concerned. They want to be as organic as possible, things like that.
Yeah, for sure. So we traditionally use salt-based nutrients. So it's just derived with the standard NPK values, your micronutrients and your macronutrients. So that's salt-based. We have that in a salt form and a liquid form. We also offer to our customers that want to be more organic focused growing or organically based growing. We have organic based nutrients that's derived of food waste and fish oils, as well as we provide organic seeds as well. So we have that tandem of more on the organic side of things. And then on the conventional side of things, just standard conventional seeds. We don't use any GMO seeds. We can't. And then we have just the salt-based nutrients as well.
You mentioned the carbon footprint, but it seems to me that you and the company are also looking at other things to focus on to do some good.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, we are very focused on the sustainability side of their business. So first, we have just completing a full life cycle assessment of our whole supply chain, where we can do better, where we're doing well, and how we can be eventually a B Corp certified company, get to that next level of an employer, of a company doing good for the environment as well as making money itself. That is the future of business in my mind. Why can't everyone benefit rather than just a company's bottom line? On the other side of things, we do a lot of work with Indigenous communities in the Canadian North and looking to expand into other rural or, I guess, more desolate or isolated communities around the world, for that matter, and providing our gardens to communities so they can be more food secure, at least more food sovereign, and choosing the different crops that they can grow all year round. And we're doing that very actively right now, working with different either community band councils or the governments itself. We acknowledge our price point is on the higher side for sure, because we wanted to get more true product market fit of the general population. And that way we can scale our core technology and have more of an impact for local communities that maybe aren't so well off. And that doesn't have to be an Indigenous community or different Indigenous communities or remote communities. It could be right in the heart of any metropolitan city where their food deserts exist, and helping those communities that are not as well off and have access to fresh food.
Terrific. Well, tell us a little bit more about the pricing and availability.
Sure. Yeah. So the pricing for the Ava is $9.99. The Eve is $6.99. You can get that and you can just order online on our website right now. It comes. We have distributors in the U.S. and Canada, so we only ship to those two countries right now. And in our seed pods, they retail from about $1.99 to $3.99, depending on what type of plant you want. And that comes in a little package, kind of like a Keurig cup, an espresso cup type of thing.
What kind of longevity should customers expect when they buy this? Are the lights going to last a long time? Mm-hmm. The unit itself, the motor?
Yeah, so we use real wood in all our products. So the lifespan of the product itself is anywhere from 5 to 7 years. So the LED lights, for example, they're good for about 55,000 hours of growing. The pump is good for about 50,000 hours of operation. So right now we've had customers already using our units for about 4 years. Our company is about 4 years old since day one. Some of the very older versions are still going on right now. It's about 7 to 10 year span as we predict how long each garden will last before replacement parts are needed. We also provide a 2-year warranty for anything on top of that that can be replaced.
The best place for people to go for more info is where?
Justvertical.com.
Justvertical.com again is the name of the site. Congratulations on the innovation. And Kevin Jakiela, thank you for taking the time with us.
Thanks so much.